Yo, what is good, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Renegade Roundtable Podcast here on the channel. I am Jeffrey Kirby. And what's up, everyone? Obviously, I just said that. I'm falling a little behind. I'm trying to get this posted out so we can get these out to as many people as humanly possible. There we go. But other than that, what is up, everyone? We're back with another episode. And I am pulling out my inner Smitty with the bucket hat from around the 412, which is ironic that I bring that up because there is a clip that I'm going to play from them a little bit later on. I just saw that, Hunter. I was getting ready to get to that here in a second. Literally 5 seconds ago, it seems like the Browns did sign Josh Rosen to a one-year deal. So now this is, so that is the second. So the second quarterback of the 2018 draft is going to be a part of the Cleveland Browns. The same with the Carolina Panthers as well. So 2018 is just going all around crazy for that. And make sure to stay tuned because speaking of the 2018 draft, I have a comparison I'm going to make. And we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. But first, I want to get off my chest, and also, Hunter, if you're still here, real quick, if you have an opinion on Josh Rosen, let me know. We got a couple things we got to get into tonight. Obviously, we had the big news that happened earlier today, which was Kyler Murray signing a huge extension. And then, on top of that, how is that going to affect the Steelers? Because I think this affects the Steelers on a multiple of occasions. And then, on top of that, the Madden ratings, as we all know, once again, they're downright terrible. And should the Steelers possibly bring in... There's a certain guy, I think there's a chance they could possibly come in, or there might be a couple different players that they could try to go after for the defense. But let's get started here. I want to talk about this Kyler Murray signing. And Hunter, obviously, I know you're in here. You know, I want your opinion because I have not talked to you about it. Like we usually do. In terms of Kyler Murray, so he signs a 5-year extension worth $230.5 million with $160 million guaranteed. Holy shit. That is a huge contract. Although it is very similar to the Deshaun Watson contract, although Deshaun Watson got his fully guaranteed, while Kyler Murray only got his in $160 million of that guaranteed. So here's what's interesting about this. Because there's always the dilemma when we talk about contracts with quarterbacks of who truly deserves the big money and who doesn't, but they're getting what is granted for quarterbacks. And for me, and I'm trying to pull up something here real quick, when it comes to Kyler Murray, there are some people who question where Kyler Murray is ranked among NFL quarterbacks. There are some people that are very high on Kyler Murray. There are some people that are very low on Kyler Murray. They do not think he is good. And I think it's kind of just like one or the other. Now, obviously, for me, it started off not good for me liking him just because I wanted Dwayne Haskins or Nick Bosa to be number one. Well, I wanted Nick Bosa to be number one because we didn't really feel like Dwayne Haskins, God rest his soul, was going to be the number one overall pick that year. But I really wanted Nick Bosa just for the Ohio State look, not for any political reasons. So if you're going to try to pull that, honestly, kiss my ass. Now, and but then after that, I'm like, all right, whatever. But then you look at Kyler Murray throughout his career. He's never thrown for 4,000 yards. He has his best year. So every year his completion percentage has gone up. That is good. From 64.4 to 67.2 to 69.2. So you are seeing improvements every year in terms of his completion percentage. That's good. Yardage. 2019, his rookie year, 3,700 yards. 2020, 3,900 yards. And in 2021, 3,700 yards with touchdowns of 20, 26, and 24, and then 12, 12, 10. So he's never had a single-digit interception year, And the most touchdowns she's thrown is 26. Never thrown for 4,000 yards. The point that I think I'm trying to make is when we look at quarterbacks, and again, he got, I think it's on average $46 million per year. That is a lot of goddamn money. And when we talk about a lot of goddamn money per year in Kyler Murray, you're looking at this situation of, okay, a good chunk of that or a good chunk of their salary cap for this year, or for whenever the contract actually kicks in, is going to be going to Kyler Murray. At least probably, 20-25% of it, so a quarter of it. Now, yes, I understand you should pay your quarterbacks if they're due. But there are certain quarterbacks that I don't think that should necessarily get that upper echelon of money. Obviously, what Patrick Mahomes got. Obviously, what Josh Allen got. Obviously, what we will assume Joe Burrow gets. Obviously, depending on how if the trend continues, Justin Herbert. Guys like that. Aaron Rodgers, of course, obviously. Deshaun Watson, that's a whole different ballgame. But we're not here to talk about that. But the quarterbacks that are, like, for example, is Kyler Murray a top 5 quarterback? No. Is Kyler Murray a top 10 quarterback? Up to debate? Up for debate? So say you say he's not. How are you willing to, I don't know. I understand that, yes, this is the quote-unquote going rate for quarterbacks. But when you look at the situation that they were in, where they've had one playoff appearance with him in his career, and he looked god-awful. He looked fucking awful. I heard a comparison that his one playoff game last year against the Rams, now, yes, you could say it ended up being the Super Bowl defending or the Super Bowl champions. I don't give a damn. I heard this comparison and I had to think about it for a minute, and I'm like, holy hell, that's kind of true. Ben Roethlisberger, in 2006 during the Super Bowl against the Seahawks, which Seahawks fans are still bitter about. You look at how bad Ben Roethlisberger played in that game. It was not good. And then on top of that, I mean, yes, he ended up winning, but that will always go down right now as one of the worst performances by a winning Super Bowl quarterback. And that was in the second year. But that was at least in the Super Bowl where they still ended up winning. Yes, he got carried, obviously, but he still won the Super Bowl. In this case, it was a wild card game, his only playoff appearance, and he looked terrible. At least with Ben Roethlisberger, when you look just at that at that playoff year, his second year, going up against Cincinnati, in Cincinnati, the first time they had a playoff game in over a decade in Cincinnati. Then you go up against the red-hot Indianapolis Colts, who throttled you earlier that year in Indianapolis, and you said, we want, and the infamous quote from Bill Cowher saying, we want them back, things will change. And then you go up against the Denver Broncos in Denver, where, I mean, you had, what was it, Mike Shanahan as their quarterback? They had Jake Plummer, of all people, at quarterback. But they were still an overall well-balanced team. And you went in there and you absolutely throttled them. So at least you had that going for you if you're Ben Roethlisberger. This is your first playoff game in 3 years if you're Kyler Murray, and you looked fucking awful. Now, I don't want to sound like a complete Kyler Murray hater, because I'm not trying to be that. But the point that I'm trying to make is there are certain people that should not get the caliber of quarterback money that they're getting, and I think maybe Kyler Murray is one of them. Now, if you want, again, Joe Burrow, now you're talking. Now I think he's worth it. He's going to be worth it. We'll see what happens this year, but he's definitely going to be worth the money. Justin Herbert, now he has not made it to the playoffs yet, but in terms of the talent, he's looked fucking good. obviously, again, we talked about Josh Allen last year. He got his big deal. He's been proven to be worth it, obviously. But my thing, I just don't get why, it's the thing of, like, for an example here, and Hunter, I'm not sure if you're still watching this, and I want your opinion on it from the Browns' perspective. And this was the example I heard on Podium Muller earlier today. Say all the stuff that didn't happen. Say that the Browns didn't go after Deshaun Watson, but Baker Mayfield still goes and gets the shoulder surgery, and he's playing this year on the 5th-year option. And they say, you know what? He's just not worth it. We're just going to let him go. But instead of paying him however much money it was going to be, you say, you know what? You're going to take this much. Maybe it was a 30 to 35 million, where you're not talking 40 and up per year. If you were able to do that, I think that would have been a whole lot more respectable, because of the fact that you're like, listen, this is your value. You're not worth that upper echelon of money. And I just feel like with Kyler Murray, I just don't think he was worth that kind of money. That's just my personal opinion. And I haven't really seen any of the reaction out of it. I just wanted to talk about my personal, and this is the part I also want to get to, is how does this affect the Pittsburgh Steelers? The way that this affects the Pittsburgh Steelers is now that you almost feel like you are in a window, like you are in a 4 to 5 year window, where you have a legitimate shot to win a Super Bowl where it's smart. Because obviously you have Kenny Pickett, who whatever the situation is going to be with, whether it's Trubisky or whether it's Pickett. We're actually going to make that a whole separate topic here in a little bit after this. But when we look at whoever it is, it doesn't matter who QB is right now. In terms of the money, Kenny Pickett, if I'm not mistaken, has a $3 million cap hit. Mitch Trubisky, I forget what it is off the top of my head, but it's less than 10. When you have your quarterback situation to where you're paying probably all of them less than $10, $12 million, that's your window. That is your window. This is why you would be able to give TJ Watt, Minka Fitzpatrick, maybe a Deontay Johnson. Cam Hayward you were able to pay a couple years ago and still be able to and it'd be worth it. Or you could still afford that. You're able to build a team around them because you don't have $40+ million of cap hit allocated to one player. So I think, and again, we saw this with Ben Roethlisberger his rookie year, or on his rookie deal. That was a window that they had. They won 2 Super Bowls in that era, in that time span, when he was on his rookie deal. And I think if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, if you're Omar Khan, if you're Mike Tomlin, if you're the Rooney family, this is the area where it's like, okay, listen, we need to spend. We need to really try and acquire as much talent as we can, and let's really try to win as many Super Bowls as we can in this 5-year span. And the reason why, another way that this affects the Pittsburgh Steelers is Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's on his final year. What kind of contract is he going to get? Because I think if you're Lamar, and we talked about what I just mentioned a little bit ago about teams being, or a player being worth the kind of money that they're getting in terms of quarterbacks. Seems like Eric DeCosta and company in Baltimore are kind of wondering that, like, listen, are we wanting to allocate that kind of capital in Lamar Jackson to where we, that's kind of how they're feeling. Obviously it doesn't help that Lamar Jackson does not have an agent. His mother is his own agent, for God's sakes. So we don't know how much of that is, messing things up. But just overall, just looking at it from a basic perspective, there's not. I mean, that whole situation is just weird. But this Kyler Murray contract, you're like, okay. Look at what these last couple contracts that quarterbacks got. I want a little bit of that. And then you look at and what I just said about the window of time for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You say the same exact thing for the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals are in that window of you have Joe Burrow under a rookie contract. Now, after this season, he'll be eligible to get an extension. Now, I believe that's how. Yeah, after this year, he'll be eligible to get an extension. Is he going to... Is he... They went out and invested... Sorry about that. I had gotten a text. Shout out my man Ty. They invested a lot to their offensive line. They spent a whole lot more than what they've usually done because they've usually not spent that much money. They went out and said, listen, we just went to a Super Bowl. We're going to invest. We are going to try and make this window... However long it's going to take to get an extension done for Joe Burrow, we're going to try to make this our window. And they have a legitimate shot to do that. But I think all of that looking into affects the Steelers because now when you look at it, when you have, again, a quarterback or whatever set QB is going to be for the next few years that's not going to be paid a shit ton of money, you do what you got to do. You bring in as much talent and you try to make this your window of winning a Super Bowl. That's what I got to say about that. I do want to move on to these Madden ratings because holy hell are they terrible. They are honestly god-awful. Now, we do not have every position of ratings right now. We don't have quarterbacks. We don't have offensive linemen. I know the quarterbacks I believe we get tomorrow. But I have a list right here of the Steelers ratings and what they are and what value they are in terms of, whatever. So we don't have quarterbacks. Obviously, we can't discuss what they are going to be, although in reality, none of us are expecting him to be high to begin with, so we're not worried about that. So we'll move on to Najee Harris. We all maybe expected Najee Harris to be in the top 10. Not top 5 or anything like that, but maybe around 8 to 10. Even if you put him at 11. Okay. They have him rated as the 16th highest running back in the NFL. At an 85 overall, tied with Cordero Patterson. Now, Cordero Patterson, he had himself a nice year last year with Atlanta. But you mean to tell me that there are 15 other running backs that are higher than him? We're going to do this right now. Let me pull this up. I'm going to pull up EA Sports. And we're going to look at some of the ratings. In fact, here, if you give me a second. Actually, may not be able to show you guys fully. Actually, you know what? Here, give me a second. Stand by. We're gonna do some things on the fly. Here on the fly, real quick, and then we are going to show you. We're gonna show you real quick. Okay, maybe it's not gonna let me here. All right, we're just gonna talk about it. We're just gonna talk about some of the ratings. So when we look at running backs, let me get there. Let me get here on my other laptop right here. This is what we do. All right. I always just looking at running back. They have it at halfback here, which, I understand, whatever. But, okay. So we look at some of the running backs. Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey, Nick Chubb, Jonathan Taylor, Dalvin Cook. None of those I'm not completely fine with Najee being under those guys. Dalvin Cook, Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon had himself a very nice year last year. Alvin Kamara, Aaron Jones. Then you get guys like Austin Eckler. Now, Austin Eckler is nice, but I think Najee might be a little bit higher. Ezekiel Elliott? Ezekiel Elliott has not been himself since he got that new deal. Let's be honest here. Josh Jacobs at an 87. Leonard Fournette at an 86 or at an 87. Kareem Hunt at an 86. Saquon Barkley, who can't stay healthy, is at an 86. Cordell Patterson's at an 85. And Najee Harris is also at an 85. There's a couple guys that I think I would have Najee Harris over. I think I'd rather have him over Josh Jacobs. Probably over Leonard Fournette. Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt's in a weird situation because he's in that backfield, sharing that backfield with Nick Chubb. Saquon Barkley can't stay healthy to save his life. Yeah, I think the lowest that I could put him is 12. Other than that, no. It's not good. No, stop it. Moving on. This one's a little controversial with Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson was at 85. He was rated the 25th best wide receiver in the NFL. And I know that a lot of people probably shat on it, especially a lot of Deontay Johnson fans. But I was one of those people, I wasn't necessarily mad at it. Now, I think there are a couple guys that were rated higher than him that I don't think so. But I also, like, Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas hasn't played football in 2 years. Debo at an 89. I actually kind of think I would have him a little bit higher. Branding. Now, Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase at an 87 is honestly a crime. 87 is a crime for Jamar Chase. And this is coming from one of the biggest Bengals haters there is. There's not a chance in hell Jamar Chase should be below a 93. Not a chance in hell. Dude dominated last year. I'll just say that. Then you get Mike Williams with the Chargers over him. Robert Woods over. So, again, do I think he should be top 10? No. But I think he should definitely be in that top 20 category. But, I mean, I wasn't as mad as this one as I was with Najee and some of the other ones. Pat Freiermuth, he was a 79 overall. He was 20th. Whatever. I'm not mad at that one. I don't really care about that one. Then we move on to the defense because that's all we really Chase Claypool was like a 79. Whatever. I mean, probably deserves it. Cam Hayward at a 93 overall. He was the second rated defensive lineman in the NFL behind Aaron Donald, which was at a 99. Good. The Aaron Donald, number one. Obviously, we all know that. Make sure you have Cam Hayward at number 2. They do. Cool. Got no issues with me there. This is the one that pisses me off beyond belief. This is the one that's going to make me want to pull a Myles Garrett and beat someone up. This makes me want to beat someone against their head with their own helmet. How in the blue flying fuck is Myles Garrett a 99, but TJ Watt, the reigning defensive player of the year, the man who just tied Michael Strahan's sack record, a 96? How is he not a 99? What kind of water are they drinking at Electronic Arts? Are they drinking a shit ton of Lake Erie water? Because if so, I can explain why you might have some type of brain damage. Come on, man. Come on, man. And I even saw a lot of Browns fans. I had a Browns fan text me saying EA is being EA. How in the hell was Myles Garrett rated higher than TJ Watt? Now, if you want to have Myles Garrett at number 2, that's fine. I hate the team that he's on. Yes, I don't like what he did to Mason Rudolph, but overall, just as a purified player, he is an absolute monster. Saying that he's the second best, yes, he is the second best pass rusher in the NFL. Dude is a beast. He got rated the highest pass or power move in Madden. Yes, absolutely, he should get that. They did get TJ Watt number 1 a finesse move. That was correct. But overall, they rated TJ Watt a 96 and a Myles Garrett at 99. And I just laughed. I just laughed. And I'm going to go through here. I want to go on Twitter. And I'm going to find some, we're going to look up TJ Watt, or no, we're going to go Myles Garrett Madden rating. We're just going to search that up. And then we're just going to go further. I just want to see some of the makings, or what some people are saying right here. I'm looking for the actual Madden or like ESPN. Okay, here we go. So this was from Ari Miroff from I believe it's Pro Football Focus. If I'm wrong, I apologize. I like him a lot. So let's see. So here's one that brings up stats of just TJ Watt basically dominating everything against Myles Garrett. Steeler fans are going to fucking cry so hard, and for good reason. Damn right. Shows how bad the rating system is. LOL isn't on TJ's level. Steeler fans, hear me out. Garrett and Watt both deserve a 99. That I wouldn't be mad at. If you would have rated both Myles Garrett and TJ Watt a 99, I would not have been mad at that. But it's just the fact that you had my 3 overall lower. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And again, everyone brings up the fact that Dan Moore absolutely, completely owned Myles Garrett in that second game against the Steelers. So that is something that needs to be brought up. And then on top of that, just going down to the comments more, that must mean TJ Watt's 100. Yeah. Yeah, just, I mean, outside of just people just trolling, saying, oh, Steeler fans are in shambles. Yeah, I just, no, just, no, not at all. Terrible. Going on down the line, Alex Highsmith was at a 75. Whatever, fine. I ain't mad at that one. Shout out to Papa Highsmith. Shout out to Sam Highsmith. Devin Bush had a 77. Cool, fine. Miles Jack had an 82. Fine, whatever. This was another one that really pissed me off. This is another one that really grinded my gears. Minkah Fitzpatrick is not a top 10 safety in the NFL? What kind of baby back bullshit weed are you smoking? You smoking on shake? What the hell? He was rated the 5th best free safety in the NFL and the 11th best safety in terms of Madden. Huh? Now let me pull this up. I'm going to find this here. I believe I have them in my likes here. Okay, here we go. Safeties. Tyrann Mathieu was the number 1. Derwin James, Budda Baker, Kevin Byard, Micah Hyde, Justin Simmons, Jesse Bates, in which the Bengals won't pay him, Jordan Poyer, Harrison Smith, and Jamal Adams. Now, if you're going to say that he's not the best safety in the NFL, okay, we could have a debate, that's fine. There's a couple players that you can make arguments for. Minkah Fitzpatrick's better than Budda Baker. I'm sorry. Kevin Byard? Yeah. Jamal Adams? And people who know me like Hunter knows I am a Jamal Adams fan. I have been a huge fan of Jamal Adams. I see him, I'm like one of 4 people that like Jamal Adams because everyone loves to shit on him. But Minkah Fitzpatrick is 10 times better than Jamal Adams. Just looking at, again, some of the comments. Yeah. There was a comment with Jamal Adams having a ball just bounce off his head and saying, yeah, so he's better than Minkah. Another comment here says, what did the Steelers do to hurt you? I'm actually fine with Najee not being a top 10, but Watt tied the single season sack record in less games and 1 defensive player of the year, but isn't the best edge. And Minka is also a 2-time All-Pro, not even top 10. Yeah. It's crazy when analysts' rankings consistently have Minka 1 through 3, but a bunch of video game developers who clearly do not watch football have him out of the top 10 and overall. Like, it's like they want people to not buy the game. I don't think it's that, but I do think it's a way to get people talking. And it sure as hell has, as you can see here as well. Yeah, just some of the comments. I mean, just some of these ratings were absolutely god-awful. They were just fucking pathetic. But whatever. There's a reason why I'm not buying Madden. Not a chance in hell. All right, we got 2 more topics I do want to get to. And first and foremost, I'm going to go ahead. I want to, here in a second, I'm going to play a comment. Or I'm going to play a video. And this is from Around the 412, a part of the DK Pittsburgh Sports Podcast group. And I'm going to play this clip here. And it's Tyler talking about a comparison. And it's ironic, and we'll get to that here in a second. But here is the clip.
But unless the one gets hurt, I'm just expecting Mitch to be the starter for the entire season. I don't think we're in a Baker Mayfield, Tyrod Taylor scenario where with the Browns a few years ago where they were expecting Baker to take over at some point. I know fans are probably expecting that. Maybe some people in the Steelers organization are expecting that as well. But for me personally, I'm not expecting that. I'm expecting them to bring in Mitch and be the starter for the entire season. And
so that was Tyler on the Around the 412 podcast. And here's what's ironic, and there's the reason why I played that clip. I played that clip because I actually had a tweet. I was thinking about this last night. And I had a tweet that's in my drafts right now, and I'll read it out to you here now. Let me pull it up, and it's ironic that I had this. And I said, where is it at? There we go. I said, as a Steeler fan from Cleveland, this Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky quarterback looks so similar on how Hugh Jackson handled Baker Mayfield and Tyrod Taylor. They were stubborn about giving Baker Mayfield starting reps to make sure Tyrod Taylor got the reps. So Tyler is saying that he does not agree, or that he doesn't think that's the case. I kind of think it is, and I disagree with Tyler, and here's why. If you go back a few years to that Baker Mayfield, Tyrod Taylor thing, because that was also the year that they were on Hard Knocks, which ironically I somehow made an appearance on Hard Knocks. Fun fact. Hugh Jackson was very, very, very hell-bent on giving Baker Mayfield starting reps. Saying, no. Tyrod Taylor is to get the reps. He needs them. He is our starting quarterback. Mike Tomlin, I can see that happening. Where he's saying, Kenny Pickett, we're going to give Mitch Trubisky these reps. He's going to be our starting QB, and then we'll go from there. And that's exactly how I think this is going to end up going, because this just seems like how Mike Tomlin is going to be with starting quarterbacks. Now I understand that he wasn't the head coach when Ben Roethlisberger was a rookie, but it was still ran by the Rooney family. And I think at the end of the day, the Rooney family is going to say, listen, we are definitely going... The Rooney family was like, listen, Mr. Trubisky right now gives us the best shot. He has the experience. He is our guy for now. And I think at the end of the day, they had every intention of trying to let Baker Mayfield sit that whole year. I truly believe they had every intention on doing that. If they could have let Tyrod Taylor play that whole year, they would have. But obviously, Tyrod Taylor... And here's what's even funnier, and this is how so hell-bent that Hugh Jackson was to give Tyrod Taylor those first team reps. So after he made those comments, it was a preseason game against the Eagles. And the reason why I remember this was because I was there. Don't ask me why I was there at a Browns-Eagles preseason game, but I was. Which the final score was 5-2, if I'm not mistaken. But Tyrod Taylor gets hurt. Baker Mayfield has to go in and get first-team reps. Tyrod Taylor comes back because he hurts his wrist. And they put him back out in a preseason game. A preseason game. In that case, there's not a chance in flying hell I'm putting Tyrod Taylor back out there, especially if you believe that he is QB1. I understand getting the reps, but damn it, he had just gotten hurt. Now, granted, there's a reason why Hugh Jackson is a complete asshat of a head coach, and the reason why he got fired after he got beat by Pittsburgh, which is something new, not new. I just got this feeling that I have this feeling that this is how they're going to run things. They're going to say, Mitch Trubisky, you are the quarterback. And if that's the case, if Mitch Trubisky goes out and balls out, great. That's not good for Kenny Pickett, but that's good because that gives us a chance to win. If he later on down the line, if he starts looking terrible, very Mitch Trubisky-like, fans are definitely going to be calling for Kenny Pickett. They're going to be calling for him. I just have this feeling that this is how it's going to end up being. It's going to be very similar to how that went. So that's just how I feel. So yeah, shout out to Around the 412 and what they're doing, especially with Rocket Around the 412. Go and follow them. Go check out their pin tweet. Yeah, I got you, Smitty. One more topic that we got to get to before we get on out of here, and this is actually something that was inspired by Smitty himself, so I'm going to give him the credit for it. And he brought up the possibility of the Steelers bringing in Carl Nassib. As I said that, I almost just completely lost my train of thought. It's ironic. But you think about it, it's actually not a bad idea. Now, this is something that we tried to do last year with Melvin Ingram. Did not work out. He gets traded at the deadline. But it was a smart move because it's always nice to have a good rotational piece with your defensive or with your edge rushers. Last year, if you remember, when we went through a couple of the games where we didn't have TJ Watt, you needed some veteran pass rush leaders or some veteran pass rushing there. And especially, like, for an example, that Chargers game. You needed TJ Watt, or you would have needed Melvin Ingram, because he would have been a perfect person to come in and fill that hole. Now, obviously, would the production have been there like TJ Watt? Probably not. But he still brings a veteran leadership and the fact that you could still trust that he could go out and make plays. Now, Carl Nassib, on the other hand, he has experience in the league, and we're not asking for much out of him. If he needs to come in and give either Alex Highsmith or TJ Watt a breather, he can do that. And if someone gets hurt, whether it's Alex Highsmith or TJ Watt, you never know. Something happens and they got to miss a game. You have a guy that you could go in and say, all right, he can fill that hole. And if he goes and does anything, you feel good about it. And then you look at Carl Nassib. He has 6 years in the league, 2 with the Browns, 2 with the Raiders, and 2 with the Bucks. He has 22 career sacks, career high 6.5 sacks with Tampa in 2018. But again, we're not asking for much out of him. We're only asking for 20 snaps a game, 15 snaps a game, fill-in piece. If you could give us that, fine with me. Good, let's do this. But on the other hand, I mean, obviously we're not going to get much out of him, but he'll be cheap, and I think it would be a smart move because you can never have too many edge rushers. You just can't. Other than that, I didn't get a chance to watch the MLB All-Star Game. I didn't watch it. I was at work getting slaughtered like a meat house. and I had people over, so I didn't get a chance to react. By the time they left, it was like 2 in the morning. I wasn't going to be able to make a reaction video, and I just didn't get a chance to. I saw David Bednar did fine. Couple ground outs. That's pitched to a couple ground outs. Cool. Great. Manuel Clase, though. Best closer in baseball. Do want to say thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I hope you guys did enjoy. And obviously, actually, you know what? I'll make one comment. Ron Hextall, what in the blue flying fuck do you think you were doing giving Kasperi Kapanen 2x3.2? I don't know shit about hockey. I could have told you that was dumb. Maybe 1 to 2 million. Maybe. But 3 to 4? 3.2 for 2 years? What the hell are you doing? That's all I got to say about that. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I hope you guys did enjoy. And if you guys did, smash that like button, hit the red subscribe button. We are 13 subscribers away from 500. From the big 500. Halfway to 1K. JK 1K. Renegade Roundtable 1K. Caleb Flat 1K. CF 1K. Whatever you want to say is what we're going for. We're almost there. Insert we're halfway there by Bon Jovi. Or Living a Prayer by Bon Jovi. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I hope you guys did enjoy. And if you guys did, smash that like button, hit the red subscribe button, drop a comment. All that. Hope to see you guys in the next video or the next live stream. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Have fun. Peace out.